Hello, wild souls. Welcome to my episode on Soulrich Radio. Today, I want to discuss the power of a spiritual man. And this is an important message directly for the masculine community, but also for the beautiful feminine goddesses to be aware of, since we are the influencers and men are the projectors. To begin, most guys, they want to play the big boss in business. They want to live in a beautiful home. They want to command the respect from everyone in the community. They want to have the nicest newly up-to-date car and just generally be known as a stud. And for some people, that lifestyle is enough for them to be happy in this lifetime, and that is totally okay. And these type of men, they usually have to go all out and enjoy the gratification of their senses to the fullest in order to get to the deep part. So for them, sometimes it's really necessary to get all the way to that point to really have an awakening. And for others, it's the opposite. They have to go through a rough patch and work a shit ton to pay the bills, and by not having what they want, it motivates them to hustle with sheer focus so that they can walk the path of their heart. It's so necessary for men to go through an ego detox and just strip of everything that boosts their illusion self. At times, you have to leave the city of your comfort and go into the wilderness of your own intuition, because when you do that, what you discover is wonderful. You discover yourself. The problem that we're dealing with right now that's so grand, especially here in Miami, is the ubiquitous narcissism. A narcissist man, he's always in excessive need for admiration, disregards other people's feelings, always has this inability to handle any type of criticism, and they always feel a strong sense of entitlement and power. And because of the character structure of this individual, they're always wounded very easily. Literally, like they cry. And when you try to give them critical feedback, it does not go. It does not fly. They don't expect the feedback whatsoever, and they get wounded so easily and they flip it back to you. So they create craziness, and they truly can absorb and take in that what they have done is wrong because it's defensive to their fragile ego. And I truly have compassion for these type of men. First of all, they need to acknowledge their wounds because they have wounds from their past, and they probably came from dysfunctional families and early childhood trauma. But they definitely had challenges in their relationships. And, people like this, they have to take extreme measures in life to really feel the problems in order to heal. And that is okay. Healing should be a lifestyle. We should be aware and heal ourselves every single day. And another thing that's big, men like that, they need women for healing. We have to be the nurturers. Again, we are the influencers and they are the projectors. So we have to plant seeds of light and knowledge whenever we come across these wounded individuals. To feel the richness of life, it really doesn't depend on your bank account or your credit score or your approval rating. You should get up each morning and face the world as yourself and always continue putting a foot in front of the other. Just let go of that masculine infallibility. Because we live in a society where men, they don't want to risk emasculation in any way. Literally, you walk into a sports bar, you sit down with a table of 10 guys, and if you were to say, hey, I'd like to share something about my spiritual journey, you already know that they're going to call you lame, they're going to call you whack, they're going to start cracking up. Some may even put their shoulders on the table, their eyes will dim, their jaws will clench, they'll start yawning. It's such a boring scenario. And why is this? I mean, if you said, hey, I just bought a new 4-wheeler, or I'm about to pull the trigger on this new business deal, then you literally just arouse for conversation. And more importantly, you fit in with what men just love to talk about, which is sports, girls, conquest, adventure, materialism, challenge. So why are men so afraid to talk about the spiritual side? Let's explore it. I mean, yeah, there's many reasons why people avoid spiritual discovery, and most of them are common to both sexes, but men in particular, they always face like an obstacle, and it's just time that we get over that, because they're cheating themselves out of the most intense, rewarding, and bravest adventure of their life. For most of us, the word adventure comes as a surprise when people merge it with spirituality, because they're so accustomed to pairing spirituality with images of Buddha, or people meditating in the sunrise, or women doing yoga poses, soft music, incense in the air, soothing voices, eating tofu, memorizing poetry. That is not the case, guys. I mean, yeah, that's divinity. It's balance, but it is not the case. My brothers, the fellow bearers of testosterone, hear me well. This is not a lecture about how bad you should feel for not wanting to sit on cushions and chant. Actually, for now, I want you to delete the word spiritual from this conversation altogether. Because like so many other words, it just comes with so much baggage and such a bad rep at times. And it makes you feel afraid that you'll have to turn your back on what made you a man in the first place. But you're wrong. You see, we're comfortable in our boxed-in lives and we hate that constricted feeling at times, but yet men are conditioned from birth that men have to do life a certain way. So this is a time to understand that each human has both masculine and feminine energies. Not literal bodies, but actual invisible energies inside of you. And it's so important to balance them out, because unbalanced energies will cause sickness, and it will also create destructive ideas to manifest in the energy fields of our collective body. So to inform those that are not aware, the divine feminine energy is this intelligent, invisible energy that has the qualities of intuition, compassion, emotion, creativity, empathy, collaboration, holistic thought, right brain thinking. From the perspective of electromagnetism, the divine feminine energy is always the magnetic force. It's your heart. Your heart is magnetic. It's the moon. The moon is feminine. An unbalanced feminine trait is being so chill that you just flow with the wind and you don't get anything accomplished. Because remember, women are receptive. An overly active masculine trait for women is competing in a man's world and just adapting themselves to be like men. And now the divine masculine energy. This is the electric force. This is the sun. And this is also an intelligent, invisible energy that possesses the qualities of analytic and rational thinking, competition, determination, linear thinking, action, and left brain thinking. So it relates to logic. And because of this, people who have these qualities of the divine masculine energy are usually great in math and science. And you know what? Like, we live now in a time where most people are conditioned to support the divine masculine energy, literally like God. Instead of the goddess, we are worshiping the God, which is why we live in a society that relies heavily on math and science to comprehend life. Religion, science, theology, that's all masculine. Philosophy, mythology, that's feminine. And we just need to oversee all. Guys can't be too ambitious that they burn themselves out. And this tends to happen a lot because remember that they are projective. So you need to connect with these energies in order for you to grow spiritually and to expand your consciousness, because this will allow you to understand good and evil. And the imbalance of these energies is truly the fundamental cause of human suffering, because it steers us away from living in a state of balance and harmony with nature. Today, we live in a world where the divine masculine energy has become so strong and so distorted that it has actually weakened men and their inner feminine energies to work effectively. You are listening to this podcast as a call to go on the greatest adventure of your life. And I'm talking about a conquest that's so intense that it's literally going to require all of your courage, all of your strength, and all of your stamina. I'm talking about a hero's journey into the most powerful version of you. One that's going to take you above your limits and demand that you take the fullest measure of yourself. Seriously, guys, let go of that fear, that insecurity. Adapt curiosity. Because isn't that what we want so deeply? isn't that what we secretly long for when life just becomes so predictable and so routine based, like work, comfort? Don't we really just wish that something could come along and seduce us into this heroic journey that would not let us rest? A journey that's worthy of us? So what if you ventured off the common map and were forced to blaze your own path with your own heart? Because this is what I'm talking about, and it has nothing to do with weakness. It has everything to do with learning, which that comes with strength, and what it means to just be a spiritual warrior. Not a slave worker warrior, but a warrior. And just living it out. Adventure, my friends. High adventure. So I'm here to tell you that a hero lies within you. A creative, inspired being inhabits your body, and it wants full expression of your life. It wants you to stretch yourself above all limits and end your days here on earth satisfied that you had the best possible run. And this is literally what it means to become aware of the suffocating web of cultural conditioning and expectations. This is what it means to face and embrace your fears of vulnerability so that you can truly experience the electric, breathtaking energy of who you really are. I'm not asking you to apologize for being a man in this lifetime, because you showed up here as yourself, in your body, absolutely sovereign, with talents begging to be developed and so much potential waiting to be revealed. So to start, ask yourself, who is this being who showed up as me? Because this can be the first step to your own expedition. Since the beginning of humankind, we've been told these epic tales of men going in the forest, fields, battle caves, cavemen fighting each other, and we always cheered the hero who ventured off into the unknown to face all these odds and these monsters, just to come back hurt but victorious and courageous. But I'm here to let you know that you don't need a Viking ship or a longsword anymore. Your dragons are not going to guard your castles, and you probably haven't even been required to fight any villains recently. But you are still a man, and that spirit lives within you. Now, here in 2020, your true enemies are no longer outside of you. It's in your thoughts and in your habits. Those are the real demons. And when you're in a state of vulnerability, you are facing your real shadow work. And that's how you're going to get closer to your real passions. That's going to give you the real money. Instead of using your ego to judge and rank on others and waste time, use it to build a confident foundation so that you can master whatever you want. Truly, guys, the answers are within us. Discover the treasures of your own adventurous heart. I know that men get relied on heavily by their loved ones, and I know that they get the constant pressure of finding themselves through their work and their responsibilities and all the rules that dictate how men must be. But when you truly do your own healing and your own spiritual work, you're going to love your life way more than before, and you're going to be able to complete your own boss moves while knowing who you really are. You don't even know how many guys live blinded in this matrix, working a job that they don't even love, simply just for survival. And they're never informed about their own finances and their own true passions, how to master it. And they're never aware of their purpose. And that is so vital. That is why we're in Earth School right now. This adventure is going to lead you into a deeper love and richer expressions of your talents and your truth, and just more exciting ways of being yourself and becoming irreplaceable. Because the distorted version of the divine masculine energy is a fundamental cause of humanity's obsession to exploit nature and to exploit life. And it's humanity's obsession with the divine masculine energy that has literally weakened the divine feminine energy, allowing the masculine power within humanity to grow out of control and to manifest a desire to want to prove to Mother Nature that the masculine force is better than the feminine force. And this obsession, or better yet sickness, is what has manifested anti-nature ideas, transhumanism, religion, genetic engineering, all these new modern innovations that are going to mess us up in the long term. So there's honestly no doubt that men are playing catch up with the work that women have been doing for over the last 50 years. Women got the jump on men in doing their conscious work because they had to. As being housewives, they had all the time to really think about this. And most men obviously were pretty happy with the way things were. And why wouldn't they be? But women started to ask questions about their place in the world out of necessity. And this head start is one of the reasons why men have been so clueless about the feminine. Also, it's a fact that women mature quicker than men. I know everyone is different according to their experiences, but I believe I Googled it. And on average, according to statistics, it says that men mature when they're like 43. Damn. But the words inspired, authentic, vulnerable, it's the same thing as spiritual. Spirituality is everywhere. You look outside, that's all spiritual, that's all God. We are God. Everything, this microphone that's letting me talk to you is of God. Everything is of God. So everything is spiritual. And there is only such a small room for the negative, for the evil. And they're trying to manipulate it in every other way they can. Through entertainment, through music, through just simply money and materialism. So spirituality is not just a temple or a meditation room. This is real life, all the way. So really be aware of that internal judgment that is blocking the path and keeping you from this adventure. So I have friends from different social classes, and my conscious male friends, they live a life more rich than those who only care about the physical. And every day is a new step on your path to enjoy this intense, honest journey, which is literally going to delight you, but it's also going to terrify you, but it's going to inspire you to be more than you thought possible. Real shit, you're going to enjoy your career, you're going to have a true relationship, and things that felt so heavy are just going to go light. Everything is going to have more substance. Your connections are going to be more sacred. These are the real world rewards of answering the call to your inner adventure, which is the most manly and the most heroic. Always remember that each man and woman has both the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And women obviously have more attributes of the divine feminine energy, while men have more attributes of the divine masculine energy. This is life, and this is the law of polarity. But you just need to be aware that it's inside of you, and you have to keep in touch with it, check up on it. Because the action of men waging a war against the divine feminine is literally pointless, because they're only waging a war against themselves. And this also applies to women waging a war against the divine masculine energy. So right now, collectively, we need less of the masculine energies, which is Lucifer, weapons, government, and we need more of the feminine, which is nature, and just deep connections to self, to source. After we enter the golden age of truth and revolution, the masculine has to come and pave the way for this new justice modern era. Because we've been trapped in the masculine era for so long, just being by the book, being in the rat race, obeying these nonsense laws and regulations. And now we're adapting more feminine energies, because now everyone is finding out the real science of true medicine, which is nature and the programming of our minds. Literally, everyone is going back to the roots, back to Mother Gaia. Even Mother Gaia herself is restoring. That's why so many places have been looking extra beautiful. The animals are coming back. Even the air smells different. And that's because, we've been quarantined. And now that we're fed all this information, we're going to come out of here back into that hardworking masculine era, but this time extra powerful and extra wiser. I'm telling you, we're going to be unstoppable, because now that we know all the truth and all the lies, we're going to come out of this like gods, like wizards. And I know that we're constantly being fed all this disturbing news, but it's so crucial to establish an observer standpoint and just not react. we should never attack in anger. In martial arts, there's a notion that literally says that. Always get behind it and redirect it, because whatever is shown in the mirror is always going to be shined directly back. If the divine masculine is shown qualities of carrying energy, then that's going to be reflected in return. And if the divine masculine is attacked, well, the attack is going to be reflected and redirected. But if two or more mirrors are reflecting quality, this helpful energy, then those reflections are going to magnify. Two will always create extra good or extra hell. And a conscious relationship between the masculine and the feminine is about honest communication and intimacy and just being each other's healers, being safe, and staying in our hearts more than in our minds, because remember that our mind is a condition. Our egos is not our real self. And also, it's important to relate to ourselves through another person, because together we are more powerful than by ourselves. Today, the divine feminine and the sacred masculine are waking up because the planet and our survival demands it. Don't get lost in pointless things. Answer the quest to your heart's calling. And also lead by creating so that the feminine can feel at ease. Even in ancient kingdoms, the man didn't have a wife until he did something to prove himself worthy. So stop taking your life for granted and see the gift of life that really is. Channel that powerful energy of yours to achieving what you really want, like if you had all the money in the world. See your time as valuable and priceless, because we only have this one form in this current time to experience it. A feminine is powerful because of what it is, her essence, her being, her presence. Masculine is powerful by what it does, doing. So ask yourself, what have you created? What do you offer yourself? How are you expanding the universe? What do you do? After you answer this, adapt the ability of moving between the masculine and the feminine poles as needed in whatever moment arises. And always with the intention of keeping the polarity and minimizing the tension. Always be transparent, active, alive, always connected, and always observant. Once we learn to use these energies wisely, we're going to create profound miracles in our lives, both internally and collectively. And if you can make that shift now, we will birth magnificence in this new era. This is part of our new initiation. This is part of our new creation story. You are a force of attraction. Use it. Thank you for listening. Wish you peace, abundance, and blessings.